When you grow up hearing phrases like, money doesn't bring happiness, the rich don't go to heaven, or money is too hard to earn. These phrases seem innocent, but they work like small seeds that plant inside our head the idea that wealth is something dangerous, distant, or even forbidden. And when you believe this for years, your mind starts working against you without you noticing. This is exactly what happened to Helena, an ordinary woman 42 years old who always worked hard but could never advance in life. All the money that came in escaped like water through her fingers. She thought the problem was her salary, but the real obstacle was hidden, her limiting beliefs. One day, after a small delay in paying bills, she sat at the kitchen table, took a deep breath and thought, could it be that the problem is really money? Or is it the way I think about it? And this simple question started the transformation. Helena began to pay attention to her own thoughts. Every time something went wrong, she noticed that she automatically said, of course this was going to happen to me. I'm never lucky. Rich people are born rich. They don't become rich. It was almost like a computer program running in the background. And that's when she understood, if her mind was programmed for scarcity, then that's what she would continue living. She then decided to do something that anyone can do, including you. Mentally replace each scarcity phrase with an abundance phrase. When she thought, I never have money, she corrected it right away. I am learning to attract more money every day. When she said it won't work out, she changed it to, I am becoming someone who makes things work out. At first it seemed strange, even forced. But after a few weeks, something changed. Helena started noticing opportunities she had previously ignored. She started saying yes to ideas she had previously rejected. And most curious, she started attracting people who talked about possibilities, not problems. The truth is that the mind works like a magnet. If you believe money is difficult, you push money away. If you believe you deserve to prosper, you open space to prosper. And it's not magic, it's focus. You can only catch what you're prepared to see. That's why true wealth begins inside your head, not in your wallet. When you change your beliefs, your behavior changes. When your behavior changes, your results change. And so, gradually, you stop surviving and start building. And before I continue this journey with you, let me ask you something very simple, but very important. Is this video speaking to you? Do you feel deep down that this mindset shift is exactly what you needed to hear today? Then do this. Like this video now and subscribe to the channel, because this shows that you are committed to your transformation. And more, when you subscribe, you guarantee that you will receive each new step of this change, a complete path for you to reprogram your mind, attract wealth, and create the financial life you always deserved. If you feel that this touches you, if you feel that this is for you, like and subscribe now. Your financial life is created by what you think, feel, and do every day. If you think about lack, feel worry, and act with fear, you end up attracting more situations that leave you stuck. But when you think positively, feel confidence, and act with clarity, you open space for new opportunities to appear. The law of financial attraction works like this. You focus on what you want and not on what you fear, and this focus starts to change the way you see money. If you focus on problems, everything seems difficult. If you focus on solutions, everything seems possible. To use this law in your favor, you need to take care of what feeds your mind. If you wake up complaining live, saying that nothing works out or that money never comes, then you keep creating more of that. But when you tell yourself, I can improve, I can advance, I can earn more, you send a clear message to your mind and to your behavior to start working in your favor. That's why take care of your thoughts, because they create your feelings, and your feelings command your actions, and your actions define your financial reality. Many people want to prosper, but maintain habits that push money away. Sometimes they don't even realize that small, everyday behaviors end up creating blocks and preventing financial growth. One of the biggest habits that push money away is spending without thinking. When a person buys on impulse lives, saying they deserve a treat, or uses money to relieve emotions, they end up breaking their own planning and losing control. Another dangerous habit is putting everything off for later, leaving bills to accumulate. Leaving decisions to the last minute or leaving goals for tomorrow makes financial life always stuck. There's also the habit of complaining, those who live, saying that everything is difficult, that nothing improves, that life doesn't help, reinforce in the mind the feeling of lack. And this feeling prevents any progress. What you feel becomes what you live. To attract money, you need to replace these habits with simple actions. Think before spending, organize before acting, be grateful before complaining. When you exchange small bad habits for more conscious attitudes, your financial life starts to get on track and you start to create space for money to stay and not escape. Eliminating habits that push money away is essential because most people want prosperity, but continue repeating behaviors that block any progress. A common habit is living without financial control. When a person doesn't know where the money goes, they end up spending more than they should and only notice when they're already in trouble. Another habit that really hinders is comparing your own life with others. This makes the person buy things just to look good and not because they really need them. There's also the habit of saying yes to everything even when they can't. This generates unnecessary expenses and emotional exhaustion. And there are those who live waiting for a miracle, thinking that everything will improve on its own. And this prevents any real action to change. To replace these habits, you can start with simple steps. Write down what comes in and what goes out. Avoid impulsive purchases. Make more conscious choices. Say no when necessary. With small changes, you create a new routine that favors financial growth. And when these new habits become natural, money starts to yield more, and your life becomes much more organized. Most people spend their entire life working for money, but those who want to truly prosper need to learn to make money work for them. This means creating income sources that continue generating profit even when you're not working at that moment. The first step is to understand that there is a difference between active income and passive income. Active income is when you exchange your time for money, like a job or service. Passive income is when you set up something that continues generating money automatically, like investments, content, products, or small businesses that work on their own, creating. Passive income doesn't need to be complicated. Sometimes it starts with something small, like saving a part of what you earn, investing it with discipline and letting that money grow, or taking advantage of simple skills you already have to create something you can sell many times without having to produce again. The secret is to stop depending on a single source of income, because when you have only one entry, any problem becomes chaos. But when you have multiple entries, your financial life becomes lighter and more secure. Creating income that works on its own is not a distant dream. It's a daily construction made with intelligent and consistent choices. People who grow financially learn one very important thing: talk less and act more. When you talk too much about plans, dreams, and financial goals, you end up spending energy before even starting, and you still attract opinions that confuse you and discourage you. Strategic silence works because it protects your ideas. Not everyone roots for you. Not everyone understands your process, and many people may try to put fear, doubt, or criticism that weakens your motivation. When you stay silent, you avoid interference, maintain focus, and work with more clarity. The result appears first in your attitude and then in your pocket. Silence also avoids unnecessary comparisons and pressures. You advance at your own pace without having to prove anything to anyone. And when results come, they speak for you. Talking less and doing more is one of the fastest ways to accelerate your financial evolution. Financial intelligence is not something complicated and doesn't depend on earning a lot of money. It's born from the small habits you practice every day. It's the sum of small choices that seem simple but make an enormous difference in the long run. Being financially intelligent is observing where your money is going, understanding what is really necessary, and cutting what holds you back. It's knowing how to wait, choose calmly, compare prices, and avoid impulsive decisions that only bring regret. It also means learning a little every day, reading, listening, studying, and seeking to understand how money works. Because those who understand money control money, and not the other way around. Financial intelligence grows when you take control of what you earn, what you spend, and what you save, even if it's a small amount. A small daily adjustment creates a big change over time. Daily financial intelligence also involves paying attention to your own patterns. If you notice that you always spend out of emotion, you can stop, reflect, breathe, and choose something different. If you notice that you always leave everything for later, you can start organizing small tasks every day to not accumulate. Another important point is learning to save a little always, even if it's little. Saving is not about quantity, it's about habit. When you create the habit of setting aside an amount, you show yourself that you're in control, and this control changes everything. Over time, you start to see money with more calmness and clarity. You stop acting on impulse and start acting with awareness, and your financial life improves. Not because something magical happened, but because you changed small attitudes that previously prevented you from advancing. Most people don't change their life because they try to do everything at once or give up before time. But true financial transformation happens when you maintain small actions for a constant period between 90 and 180 days. This is the time when the brain creates new habits and money starts responding to your choices. Consistency means repeating the basics every day, even when you're lazy, even when it seems like nothing is happening. It's writing down expenses, it's avoiding impulse purchases, it's saving a little, it's studying a little, it's making more conscious choices. Small repeated actions create great results. When you maintain this discipline for 3 to 6 months, your mind changes, your habits change, and your financial reality starts to change too. You start to have more control, more organization, and more clarity, and this opens doors that previously seemed closed. Consistency is what separates those who dream from those who transform. The consistency of 90 to 180 days works because it breaks the old patterns that kept you in the same place. When you repeat new attitudes every day, your brain understands that this is the new normal and starts working in your favor. And when the mind changes, behavior changes, and money starts to become more organized. Many people give up because they want quick results, but those who understand the process know that first comes discipline, then comes progress, and only then do visible results appear. It's like planting a seed. You take care of it every day, water it every day, maintain the routine, even without seeing anything growing. And suddenly the first sign of growth begins to appear. With money, it's the same. You save a little every day, organize every day, think before spending every day. And when you notice you're living in a lighter, more peaceful way, with more control. Nothing happens overnight, but everything happens when you don't stop. To have a truly stable financial life, you need to create a cycle of prosperity that never stops. This cycle begins when you earn money, but doesn't end there. Because prosperity is not just receiving, it's knowing how to use. Save, multiply, and repeat this process continuously. The cycle works like this. You organize your money. You control your expenses. You save a part, you invest intelligently, and then you let that money grow while continuing to repeat the process. When you do this, always, prosperity stops being something that appears and disappears and becomes something constant. Money stops being a struggle and becomes a construction. Each month gets better than the previous one, even if gradually. This cycle also prevents you from going back to zero because it creates balance, security, and predictability. You know what you're doing, you know where you're going, and you no longer depend on luck or good moments. Continuous prosperity is born from the repetition of simple and conscious choices. To improve your financial life, you need focus, because where your attention goes, your energy goes with it. When you get distracted with things that don't help your mind, scatters and you lose strength to advance. Money likes direction, clarity, and decision. Focus works like a magnifying glass. It enlarges everything you're looking at. If you look at problems, they grow. If you look at opportunities, they increase. If you look at goals, your behavior starts following that path. Distractions are enemies of financial progress. They steal your time, your energy, and your discipline. Social networks, excessive comparisons, impulsive purchases, negative conversations. All of this takes you off the path. To use focus in your favor, you need to choose what matters and ignore what doesn't add up. When you decide that your goal is to have more control, more organization, and more results, you start acting in alignment with that. And when focus becomes clear, financial life moves much faster. Gratitude is one of the most powerful forces when it comes to prosperity, because it changes the way you see life and money. When you are grateful for what you already have, your mind enters a state of abundance and not of lack, and this opens space to receive more. Gratitude works like a magnet. The more you give thanks, the more reasons appear for you to continue being grateful. And this also applies to money. If you live complaining, saying that everything is difficult, your mind only sees obstacles, but when you are grateful for the little starts to grow. Gratitude also helps you make lighter and more conscious decisions, because when you recognize what you've already achieved, you stop feeling behind and start acting with clarity. It puts you in the present, and the present is the only place where you can change your life. Practicing gratitude daily is simple. Be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for what you're learning. Be grateful for what you will still achieve. Over time, you realize that gratitude is not just a feeling. It's a silent engine that pushes you toward a better, more balanced and more abundant financial life. Now that you've gone through all the pillars of prosperity, you realize that wealth is not luck. It's construction, it's mindset, it's habit, it's focus, it's repetition, it's daily choice. Each topic showed you a simple step that anyone can apply, even starting from zero. When you change your mind, money changes direction. When you change your habits, your life changes too. And when you decide to follow this path consistently, nothing can stop you from growing. This process is simple. It's not fast, but it's guaranteed, because every transformation starts from within and then appears on the outside. And now that you've come this far, take a deep breath and realize one thing. Everything you heard was not by chance. If these words entered your heart, if any part of the video opened your mind or made you see your financial life in a new way, this means you are at a turning point. Nothing changes overnight, but everything changes when you decide to take the first step. You've already understood how the mind influences money. You've already seen that simple habits can open paths. You've already realized that focus and consistency make anyone advance. And you've already understood that prosperity is daily construction. It's not a miracle. Now it's you with yourself. It's you deciding that you no longer accept living with worry. It's you deciding that you deserve more. It's you deciding that you will change. And if this video truly spoke to you, If you felt that this was exactly what you needed to hear today, then like it now, because this shows that you are committed to your transformation and helps this content reach other people who also need to awaken. And do one more thing, share this video with someone you love, someone who needs to hear this, someone who is going through financial difficulties and doesn't know where to start. Sometimes a message like this changes the course of someone's life.